Boop. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. It's going. Took a week off.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
We got busy. We've been busy.
Yeah.
Making new stuff.
Sometimes that happens.
Finishing up other projects.
Yeah.
You know, putting things out into festivals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks.
Still be productive. It's not like we just said no podcast. There are reasons.
Right, excuses. That's all I'm hearing.
I guess so.
You should have never said reasons.
Oh, reasons. Well,
no, I gotta challenge it.
You didn't have to,
but I chose to. But here we are, a week later.
Yep. Still watching everything.
Still watching everything, including. I feel like this is a good place to start. The Oscars.
Yeah.
We watched the Oscars
from start to finish.
From start to finish. Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. Wasn't like their best. I didn't walk away like, man, what a moment.
Yeah.
You know.
I felt like really there's only like 2-3 real big winners. I felt like.
Yeah, I feel like that happens though. You know.
So. Yeah, I don't feel like Timothy won anything, did he?
No, I didn't think he would. I was really surprised that they were pushing that hard and that he was even winning a lot of things in other award shows. But I'm like, I haven't seen this movie, and I love Timothée Chalamet, but it just feels like too strong of a year to just be like, here you go, Timmy. You know? Yeah. But obviously the upset of the night, and I saw a few people pointed out, including Belle when we were watching it, was Demi Moore losing to Mikey Madison. And it was like the plot of The Substance, you know?
Right,
it's like, this was supposed to be her year in her 60s. Like, I've seen it a few times at this point. Belle just rewatched it the other night. She watched it with her friend who'd never seen it. Nice. She called. She's like, I loved it. I was like, good. I thought you would. But, yeah, I mean, that was disappointing. But I haven't seen Nora, so I don't know if I should be upset about it.
Yeah.
You know? I know it comes on Hulu in like a week. I think on St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
So I'll definitely check it out.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely curious.
I guess that was
that, and I guess we should saw The Brutalist in theaters.
Well, no shit. Yeah, that's a given. Yeah, definitely should have seen it in theaters, but it's hard to find 4 hours to go sit in the theater. More than that, really.
Yeah.
You know, when you're factoring in the previews and all that shit. Like, you gotta put aside a day to see The Brutalist.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, I really wanted to, you know. If given another opportunity, if we had that day, I'd be like, let's fucking do it. Pull the cord. We're gonna... But it just never materialized, you know.
What I felt like I did enjoy is that we kept the speeches short and sweet.
Yeah, well, like, except for what has now become infamous. Yeah, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And then that next day, people were talking about the Oscar stuff, and nobody could get over Adrian Brody's just taking a long ass time.
At one point, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. While he was getting the speech, I'm like.
I was like, my thing is with the Oscars is once I found out, like, they do the little press thing, like, after the fact where they, like, will walk. I don't know if it's, like, immediately after they walk off stage, but, like, you see all these videos afterwards where, like, there's just, like, a whole room of press waiting while you're holding your award. They're snapping pictures. They're asking questions. You know, what's next? I'm going to Disneyland. You know, that kind of shit. And I'm like, once I knew that was a thing, I'm like, yeah, wrap it up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you gotta schedule to keep. I'm like, my thing is wrap it up, go do the thing with the interviews. Like, we're in a viral age. Like, it'll get around. You know, it doesn't have to be on live TV. But I was bummed that they fucking nixed the best original song like performances this year. That's like a highlight for me. That's, you know,
that's partially probably why it kept going over.
100%. Yeah, that definitely takes like the most time for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I understand from a logistical standpoint why you do it, but I was still bummed.
I definitely agree.
You know,
I definitely.
You'd think I'd hated this Oscars by the way I was bummed by so many things like that. I was bummed Demi Moore didn't win. You know, I was bummed.
That was a bummer.
It was a bummer. But like I said, haven't seen Nora.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see it. I loved the Florida Project. And like we talked about afterwards, very inspirational. Seeing Sean Baker just like whip out 4 Oscars, you know,
Yeah.
directing, writing, producing, and editing his own film. And especially once we kind of looked into it, had a you know, pretty modest budget and shit.
Yeah.
Like it was what, like 60 million or something.
Oh, no idea.
I don't know.
Intern.
I look at intern. I looked it up that night. I forgot. It's been 2 weeks. We took a week off.
Should wrote it down.
Shit. But yeah, I was like, yeah, that's, you know, inspirational to know that it's like, you know, you really can get there, you know.
Oh, for sure.
It was great. Yeah, and I'm excited to see it.
I am too.
Maybe it'll soothe the Demi Moore wound. It'll be like, hey, but she earned it though. It's like she did. She earned it. But I'd hate to walk away from Enora being like, I'm more bummed.
Should have been Demi.
Should have been Demi. Always should have been Demi, but now it really should be. But you know, it happens.
It does happen.
It happens. I hope she
was your favorite all year. You're really hoping she'd get it.
If I was a betting man, I would have been hurting.
Ever since you saw it, you're like, I hope she wins Best Actress.
I at least knew, even though I still felt like again, not having seen Enora or The Brutalist or whatever, I saw a lot of them, and I just felt like of the ones I'd seen, Dune Part 2 just stood like above them all. I was like, I just feel like as a movie-going experience, this movie hit me in a way that none of these other movies did. In a way that usually in past years, it hits me, and those are the movies that go on to win Best Picture. And I'm just like, I was like, yeah, I felt that one. You know, like I got it. And yeah, Dune, but I was not naive. I was like, Dune is not going to win a damn thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think it won something.
I think at least won something.
I think it won like visual effects or something, or sound.
Yeah, it was something.
It was something.
It's not the major ones.
No, but it was yeah, solid. I don't think there were any other like standout moments.
Flow.
I was gonna say Flow, that transitions into a flick I saw.
Yeah.
Watched it right before the Oscars. I wanted to see another one that was in theaters, and it was short. I was like, I could go check this out, but it was at the theater across town, and I was like, maybe I don't go across town. So I didn't. Watched it on Max when it dropped. And I loved it. Belle was really rooting for the wild robot. That was her champion for the night.
Yeah.
Lost. Her champion lost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But after we watched Flow, I was like, listen, I love the wild robot. It really was fantastic. But kind of like Dean, I'm like, I don't know, with this one, it was more like, it could be anybody's game. It could be the wild robot. It could be Flow. Because I think Wild Robot was like really leading in like the other award shows and stuff. But after we saw Flow, I was like, I don't know, man. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, basically. Short and sweet. There's no dialogue. She kept bringing up Sasquatch Sunset. She's like, well, I like Sasquatch Sunset, and I like this. And it's like, I know everybody didn't like. And I'm like, I don't know why you think I didn't like Sasquatch Sunset because there's no dialogue. That was not my problem with that movie. I didn't care that they couldn't talk. That was not my issue.
Yeah, no.
It wore its welcome fast, is what it did. That's all.
It just felt long.
Yeah, it just felt long. That's all. But this swift hour and 20 minutes, it is engaging because there was like a point in the movie where like, yes, this kind of happens at some point, but like none of them, they don't speak. They literally use the sound effects of all the animals in the movie.
Right.
And I got it. The whole movie's like a allegory for like humans being kind to each other in a time of crisis, especially. And like there's this big flood and all these animals end up like kind of ending up on this boat together. And there's just these little moments of kindness. But my thing was there's like a scene at a certain point in the movie where I realized like why I was so engaged with it. And it's because like, so the cat falls out of this fucking boat, which did that way too many times. I was like, cat, stay in the fucking boat. Quit falling out of the damn boat. But like the boat's just like drifting away, going down the river. And I'm watching it and I'm like, see, if this was like a Pixar movie or something right now, all the characters on the boat would be like, we gotta go back, like we gotta save them, and be trying to turn the boat around and all that kind of shit. But I'm watching it, and I'm like, but that's not how they act. I'm like, they act like animals in a boat. And I'm just like, they're going to leave this fucking cat behind. And it just like, it was things like that that like kept me on edge, like kept me in suspense watching the movie. And then, you know, there's moments where they do like act a little more fantastical and do things like that where it's like, okay, they deliberately are steering the boat, like the birds like steering the boat, and like they help each other and like interact in ways like, but it happens like naturally, and like kind of like those games like what the fuck was that game on PlayStation, The Last Guardian?
Yeah.
You know how like that creature would act and stuff, just like very like natural and curious to things. Like that's how all these animals are, and they would act in like fantastical ways, but it's like it makes sense. Okay, they give you a little boost onto the, you know. And I was like, I don't know, Bill. It's kind of magical. I was like, the fact that they could like tell this story with no dialogue, I feel like, is what gave it the edge for me with the Wild Robot. Like the Wild Robot had to hit you with these lines, you know, and that charm. But this like just told the story, you know. You just had to like engage, and yeah. So I'm glad it won. It was pretty good. I think you should check it out.
I will.
It's pretty solid.
Especially if it's the Chris Factor 20.
Yeah.
Knock that out.
Low key, no, I'm thinking about it. I feel like I dug it because it kind of reminds me of movies from my youth where it was just like the animal adventure movies, you know what I'm talking about?
I sure do.
Fucking, what's that? Homeward Bound or some shit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
I love it. Playing Stray again. I love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I just want to go on an odyssey with a little cat or dog. Let's do it.
You got open season.
Bam, sold. But yeah.
I don't know, adventure. Yeah. Or like a movie I watched, A Bug's Life.
What?
Yep.
A goodie.
It was one of my favorites growing up. It was a classic for me. So
I feel you.
yeah, I was at work and I need to get another movie in. I'm like, A Bug's Life is short. I can squeeze this in real quick, and I did. I enjoyed it. I laughed out loud a few times. I'm like, still good. It brings out the like the childness in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, it's awesome to sit here and watch this. I feel like a kid again.
I loved it. My favorite thing about A Bug's Life when I was a kid was like when it came out on VHS, and they had all the different covers for it. That was the first time that the little movie collector Chase was like, I know they're all the same thing, but the cases though kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the empty steelbooks, you know.
Yeah,
it's like I don't really necessarily want the 4 tapes. I want the 4 cases, you know.
Yeah,
had a different character on each. I'm pretty sure mine had the main guy on it, Flick.
Yeah,
he was my dude.
He was an inventor. He was just trying to help the ants.
Crafty.
But just had bad luck.
He knew Kevin Spacey was the villain from the start.
Yeah, he's like, hey,
stop.
My favorite part was the ending when
it ended. Ooh,
because they had like bloopers, as if it was like the actual ants like recording the movie, and I just got a real
kick out of that.
A real good laugh out of it.
Honestly, it's getting a laugh out of me just imagining you at work right now, getting a kick out of the bloopers of A Bug's Life, just rolling out some dough. Like, damn it, Pixar. Clever as hell.
That was funny.
It's not even the only time they ever did that. They did that in like some of the Toy Story movies too, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely Toy Story 2. Because I remember, like, there's the one where Stinky Pete, like, farts in his box and shit. And everybody's like, ugh. It's just like, there was a lot of them in that one.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I enjoy a good
Pixar blooper reel.
Maybe like a Monsters Inc.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Monsters Inc. They're out there.
Yeah,
they're out there.
They're definitely out there.
It's their post-credit scene. Yeah.
Which is always nice.
Never gets old.
What else?
Well, I finished last month with an animated movie and my continuing adventures of Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
I watched Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse this time.
Well, yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we?
Excuse me. No, we didn't.
Well,
But
yes,
we did,
we
but
did.
not with you, the people. Yeah, I know you're talking some jazz last time because you're like whatever you said. I don't remember,
Something
but
being shocked.
something jazzy.
I'm
And
shocked that you didn't. That you say you didn't care for. Is this Spiderverse? That's
Yeah.
what you guess.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, maybe Into the Spider-Verse isn't my thing. But watching Across the Spider-Verse this time, I was like, actually, this is great. This is great, even for what I called a half a movie the last time. Because I still stand by that. It is.
Because it is.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
Because I'll check the time. I'm like, we're 2 hours into this, and they're just now doing like this. Like this is definitely some middle of the movie type shit. Like there's not a conclusion to this story. But
no, not at all.
The half a story they told is epic as hell.
That's on cliffhanger.
And it's like if that second act follows up, it's like okay.
I hope it does the way they keep fucking pushing it back. I feel like.
I know. I hope so. I don't have much to add to that conversation with Across the Spider-Verse. But I like it.
We can keep it within Spider-Man, and I finally watched A Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Fucking finally.
You know.
Finally.
So,
And what did you think
I
as a
liked
Spider-Man fan?
I liked it. There's
That is.
No, I was kind of mad at Nico, to be honest.
For hiding her powers the whole season?
Yeah, but not just that, but getting shitty with Peter for not telling. He was like, "Oh, you couldn't trust me enough to tell me that you're Spider-Man. You have powers."
See, I'm a Runaways fan, so the whole season I'm like, but do you have your powers though? Because that's bullshit if you're saying that to Peter and you do in fact have powers already. So I agree with you 100%.
You know, it's like
I was like, Nico, you know
stop
it. There were a few times throughout the season where she like goes to like fondle her amulet. And I'm like, I see you. I see you. I'm a Nico fan. I know what's going on here.
I thought it was interesting. They hit me with great power comes great respect.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh,
that happened. Belle looks at me immediately and goes, "What do you think of that?" Just like that. She's like, "What do you think of that?" And I'm also taking that in. I'm like, I was like, not great, but not in the way of like they changed it. Like I was like, it's different. I don't like that. Yeah. I was like, I feel unsettled.
Peter didn't like it either.
No, he was like, I don't know how to feel about that. It's like you're right, but also something feels wrong about this. And
yeah, I thought it was interesting, like some of the choices that they made. I mean, because Norman Osborn does find out who Peter Parker is, so
yeah,
I thought it was cool that they just did it in a different way.
Yeah.
Especially like with him being his mentor and stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit. And then, is he going to turn into Venom?
I don't know. It's looking like season 2 is going to be, but I feel like they just dropped threads on everything. Spider-Man. They ended on the Venom stuff. Like, is the Venom thing going to continue?
That and Dr. Octopus. He was creating his
because they
in jail. Because that was wild. I don't know how, like, out of everything, I felt like I didn't know how to feel about Dr. Octavius getting arrested. Like that whole scene with the cops.
Yeah.
Just didn't know how I felt about it. I'm like, this doesn't feel like.
I thought it was fun.
I know it's supposed to be fun, but
no,
it just didn't.
You just didn't
sit
feel
well.
like the fun was your thing with Dr. Octopus.
Yeah,
I get that. That's understandable.
So he's too jazzy. He's
doing
like dance moves and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know.
I can understand that. I feel like
it's just like a big number.
They did Scorpion justice.
Oh yeah, Scorpion was dope.
Yeah, it's about time.
I enjoyed Lionel's whole arc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Lonnie.
Yeah.
I said Lionel. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah. Like watching him rise to the ranks of the 110. 110.
And becoming
a bad guy.
Tombstone along the way. I do. Yeah, I like the way that they like thread that storyline with Peter's.
Yeah.
And just watching, one's rise and one's descent and just the things that they're dealing with. And I think why I love it and why I knew you'd love it is because it's like our favorite. It's like our cup of tea. It's the thing the well we go back to a lot
Yeah.
of like neither of them are explicitly good or bad people. And it's like one could argue they're both good people, but they both do things and they're like, am I a bad dude? Like they're constantly questioning
Right.
their goodness. Whereas sometimes in bad people, they don't question their badness at all. You know, they're
Yeah.
just like, and I am right. You know, and it's
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Another, gosh, what was it? I might lose it. The Daredevil thing was cool. I enjoyed the Daredevil
I
fights.
liked that Charlie Cox was Daredevil, like did his voice. I was like, good.
What else is there? Something else. It's with Norman Osborn, but I can't remember what it is. But also maybe I'll remember. But I'll even the ending with Doctor Strange
Mhm.
and how the final fight was also
Yeah,
Peter's origin and how the spider that Norman was trying to create was the spider that fucking bit Peter and how it all kind of
yeah, a little time loop
I
sort of
was like,
situation.
oh shit, isn't that interesting?
There was something in that last episode that happened, split second, and I feel like I caught it just at the end, like the devil in long legs. I'm just like, wait, was that? And I thought I saw the Watcher at the end, and then I was watching somebody's video of it, and they're like, oh shit, it's the Watcher. And sure as shit, I just like looked away for like a split second and looked back, and there's a scene near the end, like when he's like looking out over something, and there's the Watcher in the sky. And it's like, damn, it really is just like a really good season of What If like maybe this is what they should have done with What If all along, is like, here's the idea and we're just gonna do like a whole series of
Yeah,
this.
we're gonna actually tell like a story.
Yeah, which I'm like, I think you guys cracked the code. This is how you do your What Ifs, because honestly that was part of like the appeal for me, was like kind of like I told you a few weeks back. I was like, it feels so authentically Spider-Man, but at the same time they're just like mixing and matching all this shit, but it just feels right. Like I feel like none of it feels out of place. Like I dig it. I like the little remix that they gave it all.
Yeah.
I do like how they endear you to Norman Osborn as well, and it's like you kind of start to dig him a little bit, and you're like, okay, he's a mentor, but as a Spider-Man fan, you're like, he is Norman Osborn though, so it's just like, I just feel like he's not actually doing this for the reason. So I was waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole time, but they like give you all this time to really like get to understand that relationship with him and Peter. And I feel like it's just going to hurt that much more when he does become the Green Goblin. It's like, oh, Peter, I know you don't know what we know, but if you did know, you wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, because I think it was around the time they had the great power comes great respect. There's also when they were talking about Peter Parker pulling his punches.
Yep.
And then at the end when he's fighting Scorpion, he starts to give into it. I think it made me tear up. Something happened. I was like, God damn it, they're gonna get me.
Damn it, Spider-Man.
So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
I'm glad you finally watched it. I dig it. Hey, to go off of that,
Yeah,
speaking of Charlie Cox as Daredevil,
oh, hey.
I watched, not the new one, but I went back because I've only ever seen season 1 and 2 of Daredevil, like the first episode of Jessica Jones and the first episode of Luke Cage. So I went back and I started like the whole Defenders saga, and I watched the first season of Daredevil first, because of course. When Daredevil came out in 2015, I remember I loved the shit out of it, and I was just like, "This." There hadn't really been anything like it up to that point.
It was the first of its kind,
and
it all started with Daredevil.
I love Daredevil. I mean, I've always loved Daredevil as a character, and like I remember in 2015, that was before Tom Holland even showed up, a whole year before, and the next year, I remember seeing Civil War. And Tom Holland was introduced, and I remember like watching like season 2 of Daredevil or something. I'm like, man, I was like, can you even imagine seeing this Daredevil and this Kingpin and all that with Tom Holland Spider-Man? I was like, that would be amazing. Now here we are like 10 years later, and that is like closer to a reality than it ever has been before. And that just blows my mind. It blows my mind. I just love that that's who it's gonna be. You know, like,
Yeah.
just I love it. Patience.
You got a little tease, and
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah, because
he shows up as his lawyer.
so yeah, I went back rewatched season 1, and yeah, luckily it'd been long enough since I saw it last that like a lot of it was pretty fresh to me, and I was still excited. Like I said, the things that upset me the first time I watched it upset me again. I hate seeing Ben die. Ben Urich, the reporter.
Yeah.
He's
Gets his head crushed or whatever.
I love him. I love that character. Method Man plays him in like some audio play thing.
That's awesome.
And I was like, hell yeah.
He is a comic book fan.
And that's what excited me more. I was like, I bet Method
Magneto
Man
was right.
I bet Method Man loves playing Ben Urich. Like I love Method Man playing Ben Urich. Like I bet he's like, hell yes, I will do that.
Absolutely.
Because he's a badass. He's a journalist that gets the fucking job done.
Hell yeah.
You know? But I feel like that was my thing watching Daredevil this time around is like, again, it's our bread and butter. It's the shit we love. It's the gray area, you know? And it's like Daredevil is, if it's anything, it's all about that gray area. Because even after Foggy, again, another upsetting thing is when Foggy finds out that Matt is Daredevil. And he's all pissy and it's like, listen, man, I get it. I get it. But I feel like there are bigger fish to fry. I feel like if he was really your best friend, you'd need to move past this a little faster. I feel like, okay, so you're the mass vigilante. Okay, I'm pissed because you kept that secret from me. We're going to keep talking about this, but...
Yeah, he was like, oh no. He's like, nope, you lied to me.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'd at least hear you out. You know? If you came out to me as a superhero, I'd be like... I mean, obviously I'm going to be like, I don't want you to die. You know, I'll give you that speech as a best friend. But also, hey man, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know? I'll at least hear you out. And I'll be like, okay. So Foggy's whole thing was he thought he was the terrorist or whatever. Like the papers spun.
Yeah.
My thing would be like, hey, did you do that shit? Did you blow up the shit? And if you're like, no, dude, that wasn't me. I'd be like, okay.
I was trying to stop it and they pinned it on me.
Oh, okay. Even if I have my doubts, now I got to move on. I already asked. It's like, okay, right. I got to take you at your word.
Yeah, I enjoyed season 1. Then you get to see him like with a stick. That whole...
Yeah. Which, that was like, I don't know, that was a standout moment for me the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And like this time around, I was like, yeah, I like the stick thing. But the stick thing now gives me PTSD because I know what it's leading to. It's Elektra in season 2. That's what I'm on now. And I'm both excited for like the Punisher storyline and all that. But I'm so fucking over the Elektra stuff already and it hasn't even started.
Why?
I don't know. I just remember, I mean, again, it's been like nearly a decade at this point. But it's like, I just remember hating the fucking Elektra stuff, and not even in a bad way. I was just talking yesterday to the guys about this. Like, I was like, I hated Elektra as a character, not because it was a bad character, but it's because it's written so well that you're like, God damn it, Elektra! Like you just always be fucking with Daredevil all the time, and it's just like, it's so frustrating to watch, but it's because it's done so well. So it's like that double-edged sword.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, I'm impressed, but also I hate this. Why do you act the way you act, Elektra? Shit. But no, I'm excited to get back into that again. It's been cool starting from the beginning. It's cool now that I've seen, because I guess the next thing I watched was season 1 of Jessica Jones.
Hell yeah.
And it is cool to see a little bit of that connective tissue. And like Rosario Dawson playing like night nurse or whatever, and is in like all of them and shit for the most part.
I think she is in all of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, she's I like seeing her in it. I like that she's like a recurring thing.
Oh yeah, she's a big deal in the shows.
Yeah.
She's always there. She's like the overall connective tissue.
Yeah,
she's
from what I understood.
Connects it all.
Jessica Jones, like I told you, as you know, I love Jessica Jones just as a comic character. It's one of my favorites. And so going into watching it, one, you would have thought I'd seen it by now.
Yeah, honestly, when you said that you only watched the first episode, I
I know.
remember when we talked about it, I forgot. I was like, oh, I just assumed that
Yeah, I
you watched
understand.
it.
No, I did not. And I feel like it's for the same reason that I felt like the way I felt watching it at first is because I love Jessica Jones. And like from the jump, because like, I don't know, I didn't mind the casting. But then when I was watching it this time around, I was just like, I just don't know, man. And it wasn't even, I don't even blame Kristen Ritter because I feel like she can do gritty very well.
Yeah,
But like, it just didn't, the show to me didn't feel as gritty as it should have. Like, it didn't even feel like it reached like Daredevil levels of grittiness.
it didn't.
But then, like, as the show kept going, and some people might hear this and be like, that's too many episodes to sit through before it gets good. And that's not what I'm saying. It didn't like, I was engaged, but it wasn't until like the end that I'm like, there we go. This is some Jessica Jones shit. Uh, like when things really ramped up between her and the villain in those last like 5 episodes or whatever, I was just like, oh shit, okay, because he is dangerous as fuck, Kilgrave, and like I guess my thing was it was more so like his casting, and I saw like a little trivia fact that they wanted Jim Carrey to play that role, and I feel like after I read that, it's like you wouldn't ask Jim Carrey to play this role unless you were going for like a specific thing, but I felt like David Tennant does in the show, not to a Jim Carrey degree, but like I felt like he wasn't like as menacing. I feel like at first, but that also could have just been like a male perspective sort of thing, you know what I mean? Because as the show goes on, you know, and it gets under your skin. You're like, good God, like, you know, it's a guy who's literally obsessed,
seeps in
and he's got this power, and he's like, I can literally make you do whatever I want you to do just by saying it. Yikes! Like that's terrifying. And I even there at the end, I was like, whew, like, well, he can do it to Jessica. Like, what happens if he like comes across an Avenger? You know what I mean? Like, geez, Louise.
The troubles.
And then near the end of the season, he does it to Luke Cage. I was like, see, this is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. That's that shit you don't want.
Yeah, she had to shoot him.
And I was like, you know, after watching this, I had my doubts about David Tennant, but especially there at the end where it's like, I feel like because they humanized him a little bit in the way that he's just like so obsessed with Jessica. And like,
Jessica!
Yeah, and his whole like sick thing about like he's just getting off on the fact that he's like, nobody makes me feel like that because like I can't control you or whatever, or like, and he's just like gaslights the fuck out of her, and it's like after a while I'm like, he's the perfect villain in this, you know, for Jessica Jones, for this story they're telling, and it's like he's such a sleazeball, you know.
Oh, for sure.
And like but like the thing is, it's like there is that underlying like terror of what this sleazy dude can do. Like his power is literally just like, you know.
Yeah, and you know, Jessica suffered a lot of PTSD.
Yeah, that's some A+ metaphor shit
that he would make her do and stuff like that. So
yeah, dude,
she really struggled. I guess back to like what you were saying, like with that gray area.
Yeah,
like she really questioned. That's why she doesn't want to tell people she's a superhero or doesn't want to be called one or whatever. She has like some problem.
Yeah.
With identity and stuff like that, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I did too. There was something at the end. Oh, when she like goes and moves in with David Tennant's character near the end, and that's when he's like really telling her the plan. He's just like, I just want to be with you, and blah blah blah, and she's like, okay, well, what if you used your power for good? And then they did like a little trial run of him being a hero, but he's still kind of like a selfish prick about it. And he was going to kill the one dude. He was going to make him. And he was pulling like some Charles Manson shit where he's like, I've never killed anybody. And it's just like, okay. Or some jigsaw shit. I've never killed anybody.
My hands are clean. I just tell people to do it.
I just put people in the traps. What are you they kill themselves in the trap. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
That's on them. That's what is that, user error. That's not on me.
They should have listened to me. I don't know.
Why didn't I did see somebody make a comment on the old internet about like, I was waiting the whole series for them to just be like, just put in headphones. And then they did it in like the finale. It's like, well, yeah.
Yeah,
But that being said, you do see in an earlier episode, there's like a little girl with headphones on, and then she can hear them. So
yeah,
maybe she just had them on low. I don't know.
who knows?
You gotta have those fuckers
She just
blasting.
had them on off. She was just wearing them as like an accessory.
Well, that's on her then, I guess. But no, I dug it. I'm excited to continue my Defender journey. My
Heck yeah.
road to Daredevil Born Again.
And I guess I can segue into Blue Velvet because that's kind of like almost like a little bit like a PI move dude was trying to do by
true.
breaking into the girl's house and stuff like that.
I honestly forgot we hadn't talked about Blue Velvet yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also just between the two of us.
I watched, because we talked about it shortly after I watched it.
Yeah. Blue Velvet to continue the David Lynch journey.
Yeah, another David Lynch one down. I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent.
Heck yeah.
Not my favorite, but
hey, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It's up there for me for the David Lynch ones. I did enjoy it. It's up there. That and A Straight Story are probably my two favorites. But and then also at the Oscars, Isabella Rossellini was wearing her like blue velvet dress.
Yeah.
I'm assuming to honor David Lynch.
I would assume so.
I would assume. Makes sense. But yeah, any other thoughts on it? Great.
Yeah, no, not really.
Great. Wasn't his favorite.
Wasn't my favorite. I mean, I did enjoy it.
Enjoyed it. Wasn't his favorite. That's okay. You only have so much room for favorites.
I guess, I mean, nothing's really come to mind to speak on it, I guess.
Hey. Then move on. if you feel it necessary.
I also watched 99 Homes.
Oh, okay. So what did you think of 99 Homes?
I liked it.
I thought you might.
That one I enjoyed.
I thought you might.
Didn't know how I felt about Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
It's like...
You want to talk about a gray area. That one gets murky. That's not just gray. That shit's murky.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like kicking people out of their homes. It's like sabotaging them to lose their homes and have reasons to like get evicted and stuff like that. And it's like, that's fucking crazy.
Andrew Garfield, he loves the challenge, himself and us.
Oh, and then when they're at the motel and that dude comes up and starts yelling at him.
Oh,
during
yes.
his kid's birthday party, he's like, I know you, motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
It's like, I don't know you. You never met me. He's like, you're so-and-so, aren't you? Like, first name and last name.
Damn.
It's like, and then he had to talk with his mom.
Yeah.
Because she didn't know what he was doing. He was just...
Little connection there between Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura Dern.
Yeah. And she was like, I'd rather move to Oakland or whatever it was. Yeah. Orlando, wherever her brother was at.
Oh, the train's rolling through.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
We haven't had one of these yet.
No, this is a first timer for a train.
So, shout out to the train.
Shout out to trains. If only we had watched a train movie this week.
Which I did not.
Neither.
Well, I did watch a movie that involved a train.
Okay, well. Okay.
Yeah.
Did we have anything more on 99 Homes?
I'm glad they stuck up at the end.
Yeah.
That's why it's called 99 Homes, because they didn't get the one because he turned them in.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Now I get the title of the movie.
Great.
I'm
glad you liked it.
Yeah. And so I watched An Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, which
also starring a train.
also starring a train. Because there's a train robbery. So.
I figured if there's a train and
somebody
was either building a railroad or robbing a train. So.
Or outlaws, I should say.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was long though.
Yeah,
Sometimes I don't know how I feel about Casey Affleck.
I feel you. I feel
It's,
you.
it's
I
like,
thought you were about to say Brad Pitt, and I'd be like, no, Philip. And I was like, I always know how I feel about Brad Pitt, even if he's bad. I'm like, that wasn't good, Brad Pitt. Or I'd be like, hey, that was great, Brad Pitt.
yeah.
But with Casey Affleck, I'm like, sometimes I don't know about you. Sometimes I don't know about you. Be more like your brother.
I don't know, because I was thinking about it, I was like, do I just not really like Casey Affleck?
I don't like Casey Affleck.
And then I was like,
You went soul searching after.
but he's done like some really good movies, like Manchester by the Sea, and
he won the fucking Oscar. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, even Gone Baby Gone, not everyone's favorite.
You might be best actor, but do I like you? I don't know.
You're not always my favorite.
Yeah. Well, for every
soft-spoken motherfucker, I got to turn on subtitles. To
what?
Hear you.
For every Manchester by the Sea, there's oh fuck, it just escaped me.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot completely. It's some fucking Casey Affleck movie. I don't know. He's got some good ones. Oh, I was gonna say for everyone, there's a ghost story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, can you even fault Casey Affleck in that movie?
No, not really.
He's under a fucking. That might not even be him.
He was just under a sheet the whole time. And Casey Affleck standing with a sheet. So you kind of got someone else to play this, like.
that was one of his earlier roles too, I believe. Assassination of.
Oh yeah. I think it was to get back on track.
Trains.
Look at you fucking go. I don't know, like it was pretty decent. I felt like there was just like a lot of talking.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a whole lot of action. There wasn't really like a whole lot of
there was just the one assassination.
Well.
Oh.
Funny thing is Robert Ford performed it as a play for people to watch. Oh, so he performed assassinating Jesse James over 800 times.
Oh, okay. Well, then, so technically there is still just the one assassination.
Technically,
just many times.
Just many. Yeah, that was the movie. Was all 800.
Yeah, that's the clip they like to play just over and over again.
That's funny, but
back when they couldn't do those types of things, like just record it with their phone. They had to write a whole play about it and perform it for 800 nights.
That's just crazy to think that you'd kill someone and then just go around like just telling everyone about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
you're not gonna believe this shit. And most people, I guess, must have been like, "Yeah, you're right. We don't."
Hey, do you know Jesse James, the person you guys liked? Well, I fucking killed him.
Why would you do that? Well, come find out in my new play. You know
why I did it.
I Did It by Robert Ford.
I will say it's a lengthy title.
Oh, for sure. I never want to say all of it.
No, I was going to just say The Assassination of Jesse James. That's even what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Cause
that's enough. I got it. I was like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then it's like, but wait, there's more.
Oh, by the coward Robert Ford. You're like, it's unfolding from the bottom of the DVD.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Jesse James was kind of a dick.
Well, I mean, that's what I hear.
Yeah, so I can understand why
somebody would want to assassinate him.
Yeah.
You know what? You run your mouth just a little too much, Jesse James. Brad Pitt or not.
But, yeah.
Listen, after you and I are going to have a long talk, and then I'm going to kill you. Then I'm going to write a play about it. This has been The Assassination of Jesse James.
And, and then...
we abbreviated the title and the movie.
And people called him a coward.
Hey, you coward.
How dare you shoot a man behind his back?
That's only after they paid a ticket for the play, though. Once it was over, they were like, you coward.
They wrote songs about it. It was like the Not Like Us of 1885. We just went around saying that Robert Ford was a coward.
Damn.
He's like, I'm Robert Ford.
He's probably a coward.
Oh,
goodness.
As he's just getting pissed. shoots his gun, I'm pretty sure. He's like, I'm Robert Ford. You want to say it to my face?
So, what's next?
Oh,
I only have the one left, I think.
Oh,
so.
God. Okay.
Speedrun. I watched this.
I did watch Martyrs.
Oh, no shit. Which,
French.
the OG?
French,
Okay.
Yep.
And?
I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, it's alright.
All things considered. You know, there's just a lot of torture.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which I feel like, my thing is, when I watched it the first time, one, I knew then and there, I was like, I'm too young to watch this. I was like, I was like, yes, it's disturbing, but it's more so like, even at that moment, I was like, I don't fully grasp what this is. I can tell it's about more, but I have no fucking idea what these like greater themes are
Right.
at my age. I'm like, I just know I'm watching some fucked up shit. And I wish I had known at the time that it was literally just the runtime's worth of torture. And that's how they become martyrs, is when they finally like died, right? Like,
or they
withstood
they gave themselves up entirely or some shit like
sacrificed themselves
Yeah.
basically, like willingly. And I'm just like, they were martyrs. It was like it was one of those endings where I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Like even at that
that.
time,
They had to suffer to get
I
it.
may not get other stuff in this movie, but I got that.
I thought that was cool. I thought it was fucked up that they like peeled off all her skin except for like her face.
I
was like, ugh.
I don't remember the finer details because I do feel like I wasn't that hardcore at the time when I saw it, I believe.
Right.
So I didn't, my eyes weren't glued to the screen, so to speak. Looking between my fingers.
But yeah,
It's one of those moments I'm like, I have to harden myself. I need to watch some gross shit. People are like, Faces of Death. I'm like, never mind.
Never mind. Just kidding.
I'm good. Not that hard.
But yeah, it was decent.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoyed it. Another one that I watched that was a real, I guess, debate on whether I actually watched it or not was
Okay.
Donnie Darko.
Okay.
Yeah, because
on whether you previously you
Yeah.
meant? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Because we used to talk about it. You
I
swore
claim-
up and down that I did, and I was
Hey,
like,
if you were there that night, you may have seen it just as much as anybody else in that room saw
Yeah.
it, but it was playing on a movie night at my house. I know that much.
I probably was there.
You want to
but-
mark that down as one where you're probably too young to watch as well. Be like, what the fuck is this movie about?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't know, but Seth Rogen was in it.
he
I
was.
did remember that.
That he was. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I'm glad I finally
Yeah,
watched it. I thought it was weird.
that's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
So you don't remember watching it either then?
No, I really have never remember. I remember like bits and pieces. I remember the Seth Rogen thing. I remember like the whole thing with the airplane engine.
Oh, yeah.
crashing. I remember Mad World playing at one point or another.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
It's like synonymous with this fucking movie apparently. And so yeah, that's what I remember. I remember the rabbit, obviously.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, I saw something not too long ago about Patrick Swayze being in that movie. I was like, no shit. I was like, yeah, I guess he was, wasn't he? He's like the dad or whatever. Or something.
I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you. That was like 2008, bud. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a long time. I just watched it recently.
Yeah.
I don't remember Patrick Swayze. Good golly.
Yeah. Donnie Darko.
Yeah. I don't know. There's one thing that I didn't get, and I mean, if you don't remember bits and pieces, you probably won't remember. But whoever the fuck his English teacher was, or whatever, the one that was always assigning him books and shit, because they read like a book, and then he like flooded the school, because that's what happened in the book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, none of this.
Yeah, because Frank would always make him do it when he was sleeping.
Huh.
Yeah, or when he'd go.
Is that what was happening?
He was a schizophrenic. So Frank would like the voices of Frank would take over, and he did do his bidding.
Huh.
because he never had to be alone. He had like a whole breakthrough with his therapist and shit like that. It was a decent movie.
Oh, so it was one of those. Oh, it's fine. Okay, it's a masterpiece.
There's
There's a reason it's a classic.
I really liked it a lot.
You
I
wouldn't give me
did.
the
I
satisfaction.
did. Do what?
You wouldn't give me the satisfaction.
Oh, yeah, a lot of shit happens. But no, like what I was saying with like the English teacher, is that at one point she was like she was recommending a book and she said maybe Frank will like it, but I don't feel like he went around telling other people who Frank was because it was like his imaginary friend
Yeah.
or whatever. So I was like, how the fuck does she know about Frank? Like,
Are you real?
But it never. But then that was it. It was just like a little.
Huh.
Maybe made it up. I don't know, but she said it, so I was like, what
I heard it.
I was like, what the fuck? Had to rewind it just to make sure I heard it correctly.
Oh shit. So I had how many? First off, how many movies you got left?
I guess one.
Oh, just one. Hey, me too.
Yeah.
So let's finish it out, and then I got my question for you that I saved for the show. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did say something about asking me a question.
Oh my goodness, your tummy.
Help me.
Oh goodness, Panera going right through you. All right. Well then, what was your last movie?
Malignant.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So what did you think of Malignant? Finally finished it.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much finished it
that night.
Yeah,
well,
I had 15 minutes. Morning, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I just think the twin thing was kind of like overall
it's
kind of
so silly, bro.
just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like thinking more. I kind of accepted it at the time. I was just like, okay, whatever. A parasitic twin, sure. They're fused at the brain.
Sure.
Okay. And I don't know, just like the ripping of the skull open and stuff like it was just, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Honestly, my thing was the first time I saw it, it is just like, I don't know. To me, I got on this wavelength. I was like, this is a silly ass movie, and it expects to be taken as such. Like, if you try to find seriousness in this, you're at the wrong movie. It may look dark and broody, but it's
not that.
Because like I think it was James Wan himself said when he was making the movie that he was trying to make people always make like these throwbacks to like 90s, 80s, 70s, kind of shit. He's like, I wanted to do one that was like early 2000s horror. I was like, well, you succeeded, bud. I was like, because when you think about like the movies that came out in like the early 2000s with like horror and like how some of that shit was set up and how goofy it is. Like, I don't know. There's some of that shit when you revisit it, it's just like, this shit's so silly, but that was like the standard at the time for horror. It was just like this over the top, bloody craziness. And like, I don't know, watching Malignant that first time, I was like, this is goofy as fuck, but I think it knows it.
Yeah.
And especially when it just like shifts gears at the end, it just becomes like some fucking action horror movie all of a sudden. She's just like kicking ass in the prison.
Yeah. Having like a whole fucking
whole
Matrix moment as the fucking as what the fuck ever his name was.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you.
I don't remember.
What's
funny is I went back and watched the last 15 minutes. Still don't remember how it ended.
Hilarious. It's one of those movies where like I defend it, but like it's not one of my favorites or anything. Like,
no.
I enjoy it, but like it's more so just the fact that like I appreciate what it was doing, and it's like, and I also recognize that people aren't there for it, but I like to show it some love, but I'm like, but by no means do you have to see this movie,
right?
To educate yourself on film. You can. You always learn all sorts of shit from watching everything. Ask us.
Yeah, that's usually try to be the big takeaway is to even find what you like, what you don't like, different, even just like seeing different camera angles and like shit that people do. Sometimes it's like, I don't remember that, like shit like that.
You can learn a lot, from bad movies just like you can good movies.
Oh yeah, learn what not to do.
Uh-huh.
Learn from someone else's mistakes.
sometimes, bad movies do that thing where they do something that was really dope, but it would have been a lot doper if they had like a bigger budget or something,
Right.
or more resources to make it happen. And that can also be helpful. Make your little playbook. Be like, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Take
Oh, for
take
sure.
take what works, leave the rest. Um, so I guess my last one was I'm gonna fudge up the title, but
Uh-oh.
is it the Lord of the Rings War the Rohirrim or something? I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. I have no idea. I don't know why I listened for that word the whole movie. I don't feel like I ever heard it. I was like, why wasn't it just Rohan so it could be simple?
They don't even have, no one says it. Either during any of the advertisement, like, no one
Yeah,
says
no
the
one
word.
says it. How do you pronounce this? Gonna have to ask Stephen Colbert since he's like a J.R.R. Tolkien like super fan.
Is he?
He loves Lord of the Rings. It's like a big thing. If you start typing in Lord of the Rings on YouTube, I bet Lord of the Rings Stephen Colbert will be one of the first things that pop up.
The man loves it.
He loves it, dude. I think if I'm not mistaken, I feel like he's copped a cameo in like one of the Hobbits or something because of how much he like loved. It's something.
He's using that pole.
So yeah, it was from here forward. It's the Lord of the Rings that was an anime. Came out last Christmas, around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And like I told you, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I wish I saw it in a theater. I was like, I just wish, like, I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more that way. I didn't hate it, but like at the same time, like I feel like this is my problem with movies like this, where it's just like I'm just watching a battle for the whole movie, and some people, are into that. It just didn't feel like that to me. Like I definitely felt like I was watching like a piece of a Lord of the Rings movie.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I didn't feel like I was watching a whole Lord of the Rings movie, but then it's like I felt like that, but also it was like over 2 hours. I'm like, but why? Why was this over? I feel like you could have done this in an hour and a half, hour and 45, easy.
They just like to be long, I feel like. At
Sometimes,
this point.
man, sometimes it's like this could be swift and breezy. Like I don't mind a movie that's like drawn out in the right ways,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and we had that conversation when we were talking about the Lord of the Rings, because I was like, yeah, I never even watched The Last Hobbit.
yeah,
And part of them is because it's just like, they're just so goddamn long. I
Yeah.
remember we went and saw it at midnight.
Yeah, that first one.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
didn't get done until like 3 something in the morning. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my god. And it was just like, it just felt like a one-parter. For
Oh, yeah.
sure.
They-
It's like,
well, easily.
because I mean it was, but like it
Yeah.
really just like
Easily they could have done it, and well, I mean, fuck, they could have just done what they did with the other ones and done like a 3 hour long movie, and then done like a 4 hour extended cut or some shit.
yeah.
But yeah, far too much. But yeah, no, I mean, the anime part of it, like, hey, if you like anime and you like Lord of the Rings,
You'll probably like this.
you'll probably like this. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means. Like, it just, I don't know, it just was what it was. It was just like a very simple thing. Like I said, it was like kind of the history of Helm's Deep, how it got its name and all that shit. And yeah, I don't know, man. It was just okay.
Yeah. What is it on it? Prime?
Max.
Max?
Yeah.
I got on Max and typed in Lord of the Rings and it never even pulled up.
Well, it's there, but they're hiding it from you.
I guess so.
It's there. It's been on my homepage. I haven't even had a look for it.
I meant to ask
It's
you
fresh.
about it.
Yeah.
Because I was going to watch it just to be able to talk about it more.
Yeah. And we still can,
Yeah. There's other episodes.
For sure.
This is episode 21, and this has also been Phil and Chase Watch Everything. I don't think we even said that.
Oh. Ooh. Later and later with the title card.
About towards the end of the episode, we're gonna. By the way, this is what this has been.
It's almost an hour in.
That's so funny.
That was just the prologue.
That was
Speaking of things that are too drawn out.
That was the sound check.
All right, sounds good. Let's keep going. Yeah, yeah, just not a whole lot to say. There was a scene, just a little Lord of the Rings fun fact for you. There's a scene where these two orcs show up and they're having like some banter back and forth.
Okay.
And the people voicing these two orcs are the fucking what were their names in Lord of the Rings? Pip and
Marin.
Yes, yeah, it's those two actors.
Fan.
I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's fun.
Hell yeah.
So there was like a lot of little moments that like you know, just there to remind you like, hey, this is part of the larger Peter Jackson thing.
Yeah. That's all kind of connected
And it's
together.
like, I feel you. It's still just like,
So it's just pretty much just kind of like a little story.
yeah, it's just a little side quest.
Yeah.
Really. That's all it is. And if I feel like if you go into it knowing that that's what it is, you have no reason to be disappointed.
That's what I was expecting out of it.
Yep.
I didn't think it was going to be much more than that. So.
Yep, it was decent. Yeah, so
I heard I heard this guy was getting some chatter on my Facebook, or they were doing like a press tour or some shit, and they were talking about. I was like, "Oh, Lord of the Rings making an animated movie, isn't that something?" But they're like, "Yeah, you like Lord of the Rings? It's decent."
And that I would agree with that. I'd agree with that 100%.
Yeah, so I think it's worth checking. I am a fan.
Yeah, and I
do like them.
It lends
especially
itself.
like the trilogy.
For sure.
Yeah,
I feel like
classic.
this should be the year we finally go to the theater for the extended editions.
I would.
It's been decades, not decades, plural. I mean, technically since they came out, but
yeah, yeah,
but
shit. Isn't that crazy?
Cool. I'll watch The Hobbit at home. We don't need to see those in theaters.
No. Yeah, I saw the first one though.
Hey, that we did, and that was enough to make me be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to come back to the theaters for the next one.
I think that was
the next one on DVD. Didn't watch the last one.
I think that was the last time I went to like a actual midnight showing.
You know what?
I think they started going to 10 shortly after that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It would have been around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like the last
that's
midnight release.
Didn't even think about that.
Well, what about Spider-Man?
Because wasn't it okay? So that happened after the shooting with Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So that would have been, when was Rises? I want to say that was.
It was like,
I want to say 2013.
Something like that, 2013, 2014.
Unless it was like late 2012, maybe, or like later in the summer of 2012. Because I know we did like the Avengers. I know we did for like midnight screenings, because there was like that little time period where that's like a thing we did with like the little church group or something.
Yeah.
And we did a midnight of the Avengers. We did a midnight of like X-Men First Class. Harry Potter was one of them. The last Harry Potter.
We did it with Planet of the Apes too.
Yeah, you and I.
Because a guy fell asleep in the theater.
Yes, he did.
And we all left him there.
We sure did.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And we were getting a good laugh about that.
So that would have been around that time that they started weaning off of like midnight showings and going to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, like early 20s.
Well, I could have swore we went later when we saw No Way Home.
That, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, bud. That was so long ago at this point.
A couple of years.
Hey, but that's a great segue into my mystery question.
Oh, yes.
Almost missed it. So, what I was going to ask you earlier that I decided to save till now. So, if you, Philip, as a Spider-Man fan, had the opportunity to like make a Spider-Man movie, tell some Spider-Man stories that you want to tell. Like who?
What are
things that you would want to? What would you want to explore? Like what villains would you?
You know what I would like to almost tackle that I feel like not a lot of people ever talk about is that like even in the comics I'm pretty sure J. Jonah Jameson is the one that technically creates fucking Scorpion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because he wanted to create a superhero, in quotations, to defeat Spider-Man, who is a supervillain in his
Created
mind,
a menace.
and then created a menace, and so I thought that was funny. But that's another side note. But the fucking he created he'd hire scientists to like create like a spider killer,
Yeah.
like machines and stuff like that.
Goodness.
Like it happened like 3 different times. Like it kept on. Like there was like in J. Jonah Jameson again trying to create a new spider bot.
It's not just it's not just for show. He really hates this.
Yeah, like
guy.
he really did not like it.
Goddamn Spider-Man!
Like people don't like.
But he's the news. I know he's the goddamn news.
He's a menace. But so I think that'd be fun, even just to do like a little opening, use it as like an opening scene or something.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be kind of funny to do. Story wise, ooh, I don't know. I really enjoy the. I don't know. It was like when fucking spit it up, Philip. The Green Goblin found out who Peter Parker was.
Okay.
That was a pretty solid story. The stuff with the Kingpin,
Well, of course.
like, it's obviously just some really good stories. Shoot, I'd almost like to explore like, I guess like a young Peter. Cause
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because he used to be in love with Betty Brant, and there was like
I fucking knew as soon as you started talking. I'm like, I'm waiting for the words Betty Brant to come out of this fucking man's mouth, because I feel like you're an advocate for Betty Brant.
She was. I fucked with her. I thought she was cool. It's his first girlfriend.
It sure was.
It was a fun relationship to watch fail, I guess.
I feel like anytime anybody's talking about Gwen and anybody's talking about MJ,
ain't no one ever talking about Betty, dude.
Phil is literally always there at the jump, ready to be like, yeah, but Betty was his first. Like,
and then you can. I feel
and
like
don't forget it.
And you can do. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a fight that he had with Dr. Octavius, where he is super sick. And so he just got manhandled, and like they took his mask off, and he did such a shitty job fighting him. They just assumed it was just some kid in a Spider-Man costume, and no one actually thought it was the real Peter Parker, or Peter Parker was Spider-Man. So I mean that was a real fun one.
That's wild.
Yeah, then because then you just have like the origin fights. You can have a little Vulture action. Because he was like one of his first main villains.
I didn't think you liked the Vulture.
I don't, but if I'm going to go like old school, you'd have to at least mention him.
I feel like you are a fan of like the original run, just because you read so much of the original run.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're like, that's your era of Spider-Man. For
sure.
Yeah,
I read, a lot. Hundreds.
That's true.
Decades worth of fucking comics.
I think I would love to do one with the Chameleon being the main villain. He intrigues me. The things you can do with him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like Craven's brother and shit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fun stuff you can do there.
God, speaking of Craven, I just want to go watch you play Spider-Man.
I want to watch me play Spider-Man. I'm pretty excited about that. And then doing a Mysterio one.
See, that'd be cool.
Would be like really doing a Mysterio movie, like just giving it, like not doing the Jake Gyllenhaal thing.
Yeah,
like
I'd go full.
I do the whole carnival thing, all of it. Like I just like, and you know what? I have said for decades that I always have wanted to do a carnival movie. Something set at a carnival. I've always wanted to do a movie that's set at a carnival.
What was that? Adventureland?
Something, whether I never cared what the genre was. I was like, but I want to do a carnival movie. I was like, I don't care if it's a drama like Water for Elephants. I don't care if it's a comedy, a coming of age like Adventureland. I don't care if it's a horror movie. I was like, I don't care.
You just want a fucking carnival.
Apparently, it's my Spider-Man movie. So
that's funny. Well, fun fact for you, that's one of the first places that Spider-Man and Daredevil fight was in a carnival.
Even fucking better. So my Spider-Man movie shaping up.
I think you have the issue. It was the one where the
Probably.
guy used like hypnosis on people.
Hell
And he
yeah.
was in the carnival.
Well, now I'm very excited.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, because when I was going through, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that
man.
story.
Great. So my Spider-Man movie will also have Daredevil, apparently. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to pull from that. Now it's my Carnival Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Funhouse. Fun Home. To keep on brand.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I'm trying to think.
But now storyline-wise, why I said interesting when you said young Peter is because I would go the total opposite direction and I would do an older Peter.
Okay.
And I wouldn't necessarily... for me, I wouldn't do a Peter Parker story necessarily.
Oh.
I would do older Peter, but I'd center it around his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
When she's like more grown and like she wants to do the Spider-Man
She's
thing,
ready to take the mantle.
but Peter's like weird about it. Like any protective dad would be of their daughter, but this is on a different level. He's like, I don't want you doing that. But at the same time, like I would have it where May is like dealing with that issue of like, but you dealt with the same thing, Dad. You know, it's like you felt the need to do that right thing. It's like I have that too. I want to help, and it's like if you could help and you couldn't, you know, what would be worse, you know? And I feel like I would do that route. Maybe I blend them and then have her fight Mysterio. Even worse, and Peter can just be like, "See, I told you."
Told you. You
There you
didn't
go,
want
Marvel.
this.
But you know, Kevin Feige, if you're listening, because you always are.
You're always keeping tabs on what movies we're watching.
You always are.
I appreciate that.
He's just keeping tabs. He doesn't want nothing out of line. They joke about the Feige snipers taking people out for leaking Marvel's stuff. But hey, if you're ready to open that Marvel Knights division, you give us a call. I'm ready. I'd love to see just like a gritty line of, which like I feel like they've got the framework for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to see it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would shy if I did a Spider-Man movie. I would shy away from like the origin story. At this point, it's like we get it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel like that's the only problem with doing like a young Peter.
Yeah, you'd almost have to. Almost.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Not at this point. People know who the fuck Spider-Man is.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go like a Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie where he's in his 40s.
Second train. Another train.
Another train movie, Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah.
With Tobey Maguire.
Across the Spiderverse had that awesome train scene.
Oh yeah, where they were climbing up. See,
yeah.
I'm glad we're able to continue the train references going and all the.
There's actually trains in many Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the TV show, he kept missing the L.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, I don't know why he didn't just because maybe I was thinking of like the old load screens. Where like you'd ride the train.
I feel like
in the video game.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man did that at some point. Yeah, or maybe I'm just projecting.
I don't know, but sometimes they do like to just sit down for the ride.
Yeah,
it's you don't. I'm sure swinging gets exhausting. It's a workout.
For sure.
And you might as well conserve on web fluid because that's always a problem.
Of course.
I feel like I haven't
web blocks, man.
I feel like I haven't really. I know they talked about it in No Way Home.
Yeah.
About the struggles of always running out of the web fluid. But I feel like it's never really shown in the movies.
Now,
I want a situation where they run out of the fluid.
Well, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
He did.
He did. And I feel like that's why I love that show so much is because they did a bunch of little things like that. They did a bunch of little things that, like, if I had to sit down and make a list of, like, they never do these things with Spider-Man. They're like, oh, you mean these things? And they nailed all of those things. I'm like, yes, this is the shit I want to see. Because as soon as he ran out of web fluids, I'm like, oh, buddy. I mean, I didn't expect the beat down that he got, but...
sometimes it can really fuck him over.
Oh, yeah, dude.
There's been a lot of times where it's like...
That was 100% a situation. I was like, oh, no. But, yeah. Well, okay. Well, that was my mystery question.
Good. I hope I gave you a good enough answer.
Hey, I felt like it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And that was that.
And this has been Phil and Chase Watch Everything. Okay.
Second title
A
card.
second title card. A little bit of a shorter week, I feel like, but
Yeah. Shorter 2 weeks.
yeah.
It happens. I feel like,
It's okay.
I thought about that ahead of time too, and we just never discussed it. I was like, there's going to be a time where we're going to be working on other things, that this is just not going to be sustainable to watch that many things in a week while we're also filming and doing this and doing that.
So we'll try.
But
I'll make sure to watch something.
Oh, for sure. We won't just leave people hanging. We won't just like disappear for a month.
No, we ain't doing that. It just might
if we take a summer vacation, hey, we'll let you know.
It might be lighter talks.
It'd be like, hey, into season 1. Season 2 this fall.
This fall. This January.
All right, everybody. Peace.
All right, later.